Are you looking for the very best exercise bikes? In this video we will look at some of the 6 very best exercise bikes on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Schwinn IC4 Indoor Cycling Bike. The Schwinn IC4 was recommended to us by Cheryl Wishover, who has been going to indoor cycling classes since the mid-90s and missed going to in-person cycling classes during the pandemic. This bike uses magnetic resistance, which results in an incredibly smooth and quiet ride, she says. The bike itself is easy to adjust in all directions, so any family member can use it. I'm 5'5", and my teen son is 5'11", and we both feel comfortable on it. After testing the IC4 myself, I was most surprised by how quiet it is. The flywheel made no noise as I pedaled and adjusted the resistance up and down. Its platform felt solid as I transitioned from coming off the seat to pedaling on up his to sitting back down. Strategist senior editor Trolio and her husband use the IC4, and she agrees, the ride is smooth and it's pretty quiet. It's stable, hasn't gotten wobbly or noisy or anything after 2 full years of not heavy, but not light, use. Number 2. Schwinn IC3 Indoor Cycling Bike. This Schwinn exercise bike comes recommended by our senior writer Liza Corsillo, who bought the IC3 during the height of the pandemic after cancelling her gym membership. She considered the IC4, and says that this model is more bare bones, but for her and her husband, the extra features were not worth the extra $300, she says. Like the IC4, the IC3 has double-sided pedals so you can use sneakers or clips, and it's fully adjustable. One big difference between the two is that, instead of magnetic resistance, the IC3 uses flywheel resistance. It's louder, but not so loud that it's a distraction. And I actually kind of like the feedback of the slight whirring sound it makes when you really push yourself. It doesn't have Bluetooth, which means you can't connect your phone to it, and it's hard to dial in your resistance. In general, according to Corsillo, that this isn't a great bike for serious cyclists who want to track their stats. But as someone who just discovered Peloton and indoor cycling in general, I found it to be a game changer. Whether I'm biking to an episode of Bridgerton or to a 20-minute Beyoncé ride, I still end up working up a good sweat, and having a pretty good time. Number 3. Peloton Bike. These days, Peloton is all but synonymous with at-home cycling, and for those who want to get in depth about their stats, as well as have access to guided workouts, it's hard to do much better. When former strategist senior writer Karen Adelson tested a slew of smart gym equipment, she concluded that the Peloton, with a constant stream of new rides and playlists, is the best option for spinning class devotees who love the community aspect but would rather not schlep to the studio. She explains, with the large HD display and bike that's identical to the one you'll find in the studio, an at-home Peloton workout is probably the closest you're going to get to an in-person workout with one of these machines. But heads up, the purchase of the bike doesn't include the monthly membership to its app. That costs an additional $39 a month and is a must-have if you're trying to make the most of your Peloton. And for those who have an older model, the company offers a free replacement seat post. Brooklyn-based cyclist and filmmaker Jacob Krupnik, who has been using his Peloton bike since 2019, is always looking for ways to keep cycling in the winter, and the Peloton has filled that gap for him. I ride outside most of the year and only pay for membership from late October until April, when the New York weather is pretty shifty, he says. Krupnik especially likes Peloton's encouraging instructor program. You quickly find the instructors who seduce you with their X-ray eyes and bionic physiques and boundless optimism, and off you go. It's easy to onboard, it's easy to feel positive, and it's lovely to reduce the commute to exercise places down to zero. Krupnik has noticed that the bike's resistance and output settings have become less accurate over the years. He says he's always riding more heavily than the instructors call for, but has yet to recalibrate the bike. Number 4. Keiser M3i Indoor Cycle. We learned about this Keiser compact indoor bike while reporting on the best big-ticket home gym items. The unique V-shape means that it can accommodate riders as short as 4 feet 10 and as tall as 7 feet, without making them clamber over a bar. This bike's compact design puts the magnetic resistance wheel in the back, rather than the front, and takes up less space than a treadmill or elliptical. Number 5. Schwinn AD6 Airdyne Exercise Bike. Old school, wind-powered air bikes with handles, which were originally popular in the 1970s and 80s, are having a comeback, according to Nick Clayton, personal training program manager at the National Strength and Conditioning Association. You're biking and pushing and pulling at the same time, so it's low impact. But as far as working muscles and getting the most out of any kind of interval session, it's probably the best bang for your buck, he says. Simple to use, easy to set up, and with no motor to potentially break down, it's a valuable addition to any home gym. Number 6. Wahoo Fitness Kickr Bike Trainer. When strategist tech writer Jordan McMahon moved from California to Arizona, he was looking for a way to keep his cycling momentum going without spending too much time riding in the hot sun. A lot of his peers in the cycling community recommended a stationary bike trainer as a good solution, since you can use the bike you already have for indoor training, and get the same feeling riding it. Compared to the stationary bikes in this list, setting up the Kickr is a little more hands-on, and according to McMahon, you'll need to buy a chain whip and cassette tool to attach your bike to the trainer, but it only takes about 15 minutes from start to finish. After that, you sync it with Wahoo's app to control the resistance. You can pair it with third-party workout services like Zwift, the one he uses, to do guided workouts, and it'll even automatically adjust the trainer's resistance to match the workout you chose. McMahon says those features make it similar to a regular trainer but with the smarts of a Peloton, he says. Unlike a Peloton or Schwinn, when you're not using the bike, you can roll your bike back on the Kickr to prop it against a wall and make some space on your floor, sort of like a makeshift bike stand.